Okay, we have here the chanterelle mushroom, which is one of the choices and is very popular also in Europe. And it's characteristic, it's kind of orangey, because it's nice, gills underneath, firm, and has a kind of little bit peppery taste. So the way you prepare the mushroom, as I do, and I learned from my parents back in Poland, is that you soak them in the water. So put them in a sink, in cold water, then before that you remove the ends, and then use a brush, clean all those grits which are here hidden and on the top, and then later you take it from the water, and then you can divide into smaller pieces, and then parboil. So parboil is that you have a beaker with water, and then you boil it, dump all those cut mushrooms, 1 minute, and then you drain them on the coolant and then cool them. Then you can divide them into different like batches or parts, pieces. Some can be frozen in the plastic bags, freezer bags. Some you can stew them, simmer. I also use them, store them in the refrigerator for a few days after that parboiling, so then you can use them as a side dish, for example, with meat or salmon, and instead of the typical salad, you can use those mushrooms. Just saute in butter and olive oil, plus a little bit of salt and pepper. Some people add some other herbs, but I usually don't do that. And then other ones you can also make a stew, also on butter with some onions, salt, pepper, and I also use at the end, when it's a bit cool, I add some sour cream. Sour cream. So remember, salt and pepper to taste. Okay, so that's practically it. Yeah.
Oh, and how hard should the brush be when you're cleaning?
They're light brushing, because you can see it here, for example, there's some, so you can shake it in the water like this. If they don't dislodge, those dark grit particles, because later you can feel them when you eat them. So I use a dedicated clean toothbrush, not even the mushroom brush, the round one. I use a toothbrush and then go over running water, under running water, and try to remove them. But delicately, because otherwise you remove the gills, and when the spores are in the gills, then there were the fragrances. So you try to kind of limit. But of course, you don't want to see that here. The thing, you cannot shake it at all, cannot wash it. So that means you have to use the brush and go towards the edge this way. And those here, you go towards this time. But toothbrush works good.
Soft toothbrush. Okay. What else? Oh, and some of them have insect holes in them?
Insect holes, yeah. Like for example, when you cut here, maybe I can quickly show you.
This has got the warts, and it's got
Okay, when I cut and remove, and I discard this part, so I just throw it away. So you see, this one doesn't have any holes. Some of the mushroom are infected from the roots, and they go here, and you can see, for example, like those holes. But then there are others, like those which can attack from the top. You can see here like openings. So what I do, I cut in half, and you can see there underneath here, there are different types of. So what I do, when I kind of cut the top of it. See the sharp knife, and you can see practically that this is clean, there's nothing, no holes, and then if there is required, sometimes I split it even more, and you can see, observe that this is pretty good. This was had a little bit left, so this is perfect. And then you can see here, like this is hole here and this, so again, you cut like this, and then you remove this part, and then practically later you follow, if there are some holes, you can cut more, and follow, and then cut some more. And then they don't, those mushrooms in chanterelles, the other mushrooms are different, but in chanterelles they only go here or go through, but these are two different kinds. Those are the big holes, and they usually pass through and disappear. I don't know what kind of, but those are just here regular larvae, and they're kind of white, kind of a little bit black heads. So, and then this is perfect. So this is the way mean, I will cut it even like this, or even 1/8.
1/8.
1/8, because this big. Smaller ones you cut in half.
Okay.
Okay, and there's another way of, when you have a kind of small mushrooms, which will be kind of this size, you know, on the stem, you clean them, and then you can pickle them. And picking is done, that's the same way. You do parboiling, and later you boil them in mildly salted water for 10 minutes, and then you drain, put them in the canning jars, and then you prepare some kind of like a canning, the liquid. It's half and half white vinegar. Don't use any fragrant vinegar. It has to be this white, you know, distilled vinegar. Half and half, so give you 3%. And I use clean water, either distilled water or something. Then you add 1 bay leaf for the, like, half a cup proportion. Use 1 bay leaf, use 10 black pepper corns, about 8 allspice corns, and then use some, I usually pour a little bit on my palm, the mustard seed. And then you add 1 teaspoon of salt and half teaspoon of sugar, and then you boil the whole thing. And by the way, sorry, one more thing, you half of the small onion, you slice them, so white onion.